Today is August 12th. Welcome on into Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com. Brought to you by Munganast St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks of Missouri. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside Bob Ramsey. Rammer, it's the biggest series of the season. It's Cardinals and Brewers, 3 games in St. Louis with first place on the line.
Yeah, it's there's still a lot of baseball to be played, but it's certainly for both teams, you'd rather come out of this being chased than being the chaser. So these two teams are going to compete against each other, even when they're not playing each other all the way to the end. So, both teams would like to come out, and whoever takes 2 out of 3 of this will feel a lot better about themselves.
Yeah, the Brewers were on quite a tear recently, on the negative side of things, having lost. You go all the way back to July 31st, having lost the first or 4 in a row before finally winning one against Cincinnati and then losing the final 2 to Cincinnati. They were struggling for a bit, but they just welcomed Tampa in earlier this week and they swept the Rays in a 2-game series. So maybe finally turning the quarter from that stretch, getting into being able to play some good baseball. Both teams, though, still right there in the wild card, so not a total loss if you do lose the series, but still, as you mentioned, yeah, you'd rather be on top looking up there going into these final 6 weeks of the season.
If you end up, I think this speaks for both teams, if you end up in a wild card, hooray, but because the way teams in other divisions are playing, you better not count on it. And I know that both teams are only focused on winning the division, as it should be.
The Cardinals, as you look at this series, we don't have lineups yet for the game tonight, but we do know the pitching matchups for this weekend. The Cardinals catch the Brewers rotation in a very good spot for them. They face a lefty tonight in Eric Lauer, and then they face Ashby on Sunday. And we've seen what they've already done against both of these lefties this year. The Cardinals hit the lefties really well. This is where they want to be this weekend, facing these both of these two pitchers.
Yeah, what'll be interesting, we talk about lineup nerd stuff. Nootbaar was terrific as the leadoff guy yesterday in Colorado. Being left-handed, I'm trying to guess along with Ollie. I don't think he'll go back to leading him off. I think he'll go back to the Edmund Carlson combo up top, because they're both clearly better hitting from the right side. So, and then you go to your 2 big boys, and then you go to Pujols. Things start to stack up pretty well as this club faces left-handers. It's pretty good.
And you mentioned that too. I mean, we don't, like we said, we don't have the lineup yet tonight, and we don't know. You assume Albert starts again on Sunday against the other lefty. Yeah. We know earlier on in the season, your guy Brendan Donovan started against lefties. He was in the lineup against left-handers a lot during the beginning part of the season. What do they do with that tonight, with Nootbaar playing as well as he has been lately, with 2 lefties in the lineup? What do you do with right field this weekend?
I think it's Nootbaar because of what he does with his glove and legs and arm. I think the question is, what do you do with O'Neill, who suddenly has started struggling again? Do you look at it as, hey, let's keep him in here against the left-handed pitcher, give him a chance to get going, which is what I think they'll choose? Or do you say, we got to be in a position where, we can't be worrying about getting guys going. We got to go for the production and put Donovan out there. I think they'll take choice A, though. I think O'Neill will be out there.
The Cardinals should come in with a very fresh end of the bullpen with Ryan Helsley and Giovanni Gallegos getting a few days off now in a row outside of Helsley warming up in the game on Wednesday night. But yesterday, we looked at what we saw yesterday. Jordan Hicks and Genesis Cabrera, they were not good yesterday in that one, and that's concerning as you look and you try to get this bullpen where it needs to be at the end of the year.
Who's going to be your go-to, your high-pressure left-hander? We felt like we see the stuff. We know the guy. We've seen him be very successful, but Cabrera's not in that spot right now. I think you probably agree with me. So who is it? Do you go to Packy Naughton in that situation? He's been good, but do we feel comfortable in the 8th inning against Christian Yelich with Packy Naughton there, needing to get 2 outs with runners on? We don't feel that way about Cabrera, so I don't know what you do. I guess it's Naughton.
Is this something that you use, September call-ups? I know it's not 40-man like it used to be, but you get to add a few more. Is that a role that maybe you give Zach Thompson that opportunity?
Well, I'm worried about this weekend in particular.
Yeah.
Because Cabrera threw and was terrible. He's been at best inconsistent. So that's what I'm saying. This weekend, against their tough, Rowdy and their tough left-handed Wong even. Wong's been hitting 5th and 6th in their order and has been playing some pretty good baseball, really, for almost 6 weeks. Colton's been doing pretty good. And so when you've got those 2 or 3 lefties that you've got to get in a pressure situation late, who do you go to? I guess he's got to try Naughton.
Yeah. And as you look around with what Jack Flaherty did yesterday in his rehab assignment, 4 hits, 3 runs, a home run, and 1 inning pitched for his first rehab assignment in Memphis yesterday. Again, we've said it many times, and I think it rings true. Again, you don't expect anything from him at this point. Anything that you get at all that's a positive is just a bonus on this year.
Yeah, I think so. But having said those things, the rotation is shaped up. If you can get one more guy, and maybe you go back to Palante, but it looks like, as long as they don't wait too long, it looks like to me, especially if you went to Palante, you could have a solid 5-man rotation. However, with the issues in the bullpen, is the team overall going to be served, not just once every 5th day, but overall having Andre in that mix late in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings when you can win a game? That's a tough call, and the answer might be the bullpen.
Yeah. The Cardinals and Brewers, first pitch tonight for that game is 7:15. All weekend long, the Cardinals will be honoring the 1982 World Series team, the 40th anniversary of that 1982 team. 22 former players and staffers from that 82 team will be there, including Hall of Famers Whitey Herzog, Ozzie Smith, Brute Suter, Jim Cott, Willie McGee, Keith Hernandez, and Tommy Herr. All of those guys will be there for the game. There will be a pregame ceremony tomorrow night before the game, and it all happens on a weekend where they are facing their 1982 opponent, the Milwaukee Brewers, who were back in the American League in 1982. Rammer, what are your memories from that 1982 World Series team?
Couple of things. Go back the winter before and the year before, 81, Bowie Kuhn, another commissioner that couldn't get out of his own way, not a baseball guy, yet kept making ridiculous decisions for a decade, 70s and into the 80s, that were just moronic. There was labor strife. They split the season. They had a first and second half, kind of like they used to do in the minor leagues a lot. And so who got screwed? The Cardinals. They finished with the best record on the year of the Eastern Division teams, but because they finished second in each of the halves, they got screwed. It was a really good team. Whitey had really put together a good team. Then he makes more deals the next winter and really makes a ball club in his own image, a club that plays the game right. And it's non-specific, but my memory is these guys never made mistakes. They all knew how to play the game, including the precocious rookie Willie McGee inserted into center field. But you got pros on either side. Folks, go back and look sometime too. Lonnie Smith was a monster. George Hendrick drove in 100 runs. Keith, you had an infield that set the record for fielding percentage, the whole infield, with Ken Oberkfell third, Ozzie Smith at short, Tom Herr, and Keith. I'll go to my grave thinking that they didn't need to trade Simmons and then signed Porter, I'll always believe that you could have won and maybe even been a better team with Ted Simmons. But Whitey went for defense. You can't argue with the results, right? They won the World Series. Mm-hmm. In fact, Porter ended up being the World Series MVP, although my vote was for Keith Hernandez at the time. 8 RBIs in 7 games and big ones. But anyway, I just remember it was a team that just didn't make mistakes. And while they didn't have a dominant rotation, they gave you innings, and Whitey used his bullpen beautifully.
They 200 stolen bases, 67 home runs that year. To win a World Series and hit 67 total home runs on the year. It's crazy to think that was baseball at one point in our lifetime.
It was so much fun. Watching that infield play, man. Watching that infield play, it was magic. It was beautiful. They were so good. Ken Oberkfell, very underrated. In fact, he has had a very underrated career. Obi was a really nice professional baseball player. And those 4 guys on the infield, Joe, they just didn't make mistakes.
Yeah.
They did everything they were supposed to do. It was really, if you're a kind of a hardcore, I don't want to say old school, but just somebody who appreciates playing the game right, that was the team you wanted to watch. And then with the speed, you mentioned Lonnie, Willie, Ozzie, the speed up and down the lineup, the switch hitters, it was a thing of beauty.
That'll be all weekend long, celebrating the 1982 team, the 40th anniversary of that. Hey, pay attention to my Twitter account, at Joe Roderick. I already gave away a pair of tickets for tonight's game.
Saw that, Mr. Generous, Santa Claus.
Yeah, so we'll see what else we have for the rest of the weekend. Just keep following us there at Joe Roderick there on Twitter, as I'm sure I'll have some more to give away. I'll see what Claibs has up his sleeve for the weekend. Hey, we are brought to you each and every day by Mungenast St. Louis Acura and Rammer Royal Banks.
Royal Banks of Missouri. Go to the pros who know what they're doing. Royal Banks has been in our community, and now as they've grown in our communities for over half a century. And when you're trying your professional finances, your business finances, Royal Banks knows how to get the best rates, the best deals, and moreover, the best program that fits you best. That's what they're there for, to help you achieve financial goals. At Royal Banks of Missouri, where better service means better banking.
He's Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. This has been another edition of Daily Cards Live right here on ClaibsOnline.com. Enjoy the games this weekend, everybody, and we will talk to you again on Monday.
St. Louis Acura has almost 200 pre-owned vehicles in stock with inventory arriving daily and can offer the best trade-in value. While others raise their prices and fees, we choose to earn your repeat and referral business by not taking advantage of the current market situation. We invest in our team, becoming one of St. Louis's top places to work and fastest growing companies. St. Louis Acura remains committed to becoming better than ever for you. Located at Manchester and Mason Roads.